If we go back in time to the age of when you were 8, and if you asked your 8-year-old self what he wanted to do with his life, he probably had the idea of wanting to become like an athlete or someone famous or a musician or something along those lines. And if you look at where you are now in life, chances are you're probably not there. You're probably not famous, you're probably not rich, and you've probably settled for a mediocre life. So why does that happen? Well, you just become complacent. You just have your duties and your responsibilities every day, and you have school, you have work, and fair enough, they're important things. But if you ask your 8-year-old self, would you be really happy with living this life? And the answer would probably be no. So why don't you become the person which you wanted to be since the age of 8? Why don't you take the steps? Why don't you take the risk? And why don't you become that person? You see, for me, from the very early age, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. But I always had the limiting belief of not being able to do it. I always wanted to play video games, always wanted to watch YouTube and have ideas for YouTube, even though I'd never really start. And looking back on it, it's just funny how all this time wasted and everything I've done up to this point in my life has just shaped me. And for the last 5 years, I've had the thoughts and ideas of wanting to become a YouTuber. So if you thought about it, if I started 5 years ago, I'd probably be where I'd want to be at now. But you see, I'm not there. And why is that? Well, it's because I'm not living true to my proper 8-year-old self. You see, what I think is when you're 8 years old, that is probably just a very peaceful and enjoyable time in your life. And the goals you have don't have any limits to them. So let's say you want to be an astronaut, which is a very potential thing. And if you truly believed in it, I'm sure you could be an astronaut somehow, some way. So what I want you to do is to stop having the limiting belief on what you can do or what you can't do. And what you need to do is to start taking action. See, that's the biggest problem which I have at the minute, is just procrastinating, not taking action, and just being lazy. Laziness, I think, is one of the biggest problems which people face. The way people have potential. From a young age, I've been told by many, many people that I have potential, but my laziness just eliminated my potential. So now that I've stopped procrastinating, or at least tried to, it's currently about 4 hours after I've planned on making this video, then I just think it's something special that you need to take action and just become the person you've always wanted to become. So before I finish this off, just reflect and think, what would your 8-year-old self want? And what traits and characteristics would you want to have? And how would you want to be viewed by your children when they're 8 years old? So, yeah, sweet.